Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Shane. I'm here with Mark.
Hey.
And we are the Fantasy Football Pros. Today, we are going to be doing another mock draft. We did tell you guys that we're going to have a special guest today, but she was not able to make it. So hopefully we'll have her on at a later date. Mark, you want to say something?
I do have a public service announcement. For anybody that is a gambler, which shockingly is probably everybody listening to this podcast, and also a golfer, this is Christmas for golfers and gamblers. It is the Masters week, and we are looking at some incredible weather for the Masters and an incredible field. But I do want to break down a couple little things for you. And just throw a couple things out there that maybe someone might want to put a little coin on. So with this course, you have to look at golfers that are very good putters and are excellent in iron play, excellent from the fairway to the green. You're looking for people that will do better than everybody else in the field in that area. And there are a couple golfers that I'd like to point out. Two golfers are Johnson, DJ, of course, and Cameron Smith. They are the only two golfers to finish in the top 5 in this event in the last 3 years. Now, with Dustin Johnson, you're not going to get much money back on your investment. You're looking at, for betting $100 on him to win, you'd win $950, which is still a very good investment. But if you understand, golf is very hard to predict week to week. With Cameron Smith, though, he is paying out $3,700 for every $100 bet on him, or $370 for a $10 bet on him. So I would like everybody just to point that out, to look at that. A couple longer shots that I do like is Tyrell Hatton has been playing great. He is at $5,500 for $100. And then the last one is Max Homa, and he's paying out $10,000 for a $100 bet. So I just want to throw it out there that, hey, these are my picks who I'm going to be betting on to either finish in the top 20, the top 10, or win outright. And that's it for the public service announcement.
Well, thank you, Mark. Trying to help some people make some money.
Hey, I'm a caring guy.
You are. So back to football. The big news, I suppose, would be the Jets trading Sam Darnold over to the Panthers. Now, the Jets are going to get a 6th-round pick in the 2001 draft and a 2nd and 4th rounder in the 2022 draft. Now, this is a pretty smart move, I think, for the Jets, because they're undoubtedly going to be drafting a quarterback. They have the 2nd overall pick. And there's amazing quarterbacks there. They tried with Sam Darnold. It didn't work out. If they were to draft a quarterback and have Sam Darnold there, it's just going to be another quarterback controversy. Nobody likes that. They wanted to avoid that, get something in return, got some draft picks, and it clearly opens up the path that whoever they draft is going to be their starting guy.
And it does do some interesting things for Carolina also. You are no longer looking at getting a quarterback in this draft. And what they can look at then is one of their bigger needs, which is a offensive lineman. And they do have 2 very talented receivers down there. So this will work out, I think, actually in the benefit of Carolina, because instead of using that 1st-round pick or 2nd-round pick, trying to pick up a quarterback, you now can sew up that offensive line that will help that Sam Darnold. So I think Darnold will be in a better situation where he's going to be at in Carolina also.
It is also an important move for them because the 49ers just traded down. The Panthers have the 8th pick in the draft, and the 49ers just moved, I believe, into the 3rd spot. So they were going to take whoever the Panthers were eyeing. So I think this is like a little safety valve. Like, okay, the quarterback that we want, they have their guy or guys are going to be selected. So let's get our quarterback and start focusing on the rest of the team.
Yeah, these little moves do so much in the draft for everybody. When you're looking now at the Chargers, for instance, they went out this offseason and spent all this money on sewing up their line. They got 2 new offensive guards. They also got a new center, spent good money on these guys. But with these moves that have happened, they were really looking at getting an offensive tackle in the draft to really, I mean, they were going to have a whole new line this year, okay, which is great for Justin Herbert fans, or even, for instance, Austin Eckler or Joshua Kelly. I think that really improves their stock in this year's league. But now with these moves that have happened, the two best offensive tackles might be gone at this point. So you might see another trade. I could see the Chargers trading their pick, moving further down in the draft to pick up one of the better cornerbacks. So you're going to see more movement going on because of what just happened.
Yeah, there's always a domino effect. Read and react from the other coaches and management teams, seeing what everybody else is doing and who, they're all trying to lock up their guys. So they feel like other people might be threatening those positions, and then they're going to start making trades, and
Well,
you might see some bad trades just because of that.
And as a former Bears fan, because I'm not a Bears fan anymore, but as a former Bears fan, what I think, if you see the two offensive tackles go in this draft before the 12th pick, which is the Chargers have, this is what I want you to watch out for. I want you at that point watching them trade down to number 20 to the Bears, and the Bears, of course, trading up to number 12 then and taking Mac Jones. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. This is what I see could be happening in this draft now, and it all depends if those two offensive tackles are gone by the time the 12th pick comes around. If they are, they're going to trade out of that slot because they can get a good corner at the 20th spot. That's all I'm saying.
So I think that Sam Darnold is going to be a new sleeper this year. He is away from the Jets organization. He was already away from Adam Gase, but this just gives him a fresh start. And Adam Gase, as an offensive coordinator or a head coach, does absolutely horrible with teams. Like, he can have a great team and then just somehow make them bad. It's like you bring them to your team so that you can get a high draft pick the next season.
Hey, do you think Adam Gase can kind of just like maybe go away and go to Europe and become a football coach in Europe like Ted Lasso?
Well, I'm surprised that he keeps getting hired, and I'd really be surprised if somebody hires him again,
Yeah.
unless he's like the water boy.
Yeah, definitely.
So now Sam's got Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. They lost Curtis Samuel, but they still have two really talented wide receivers out there. I think this is going to be a fresh start for Sam Darnold. His draft value is not going to rise that much, which means that he'll be a solid QB2 for you. And if he does turn out, then you can just pop him into your starting rotation. If he doesn't, you can easily drop him out for another free agent quarterback that is on the rise. But it happens every year. There's guys that we do not draft, and then they turn out to be amazing, like James Robinson and Justin Herbert.
Well, and don't forget who else he has in Carolina, who is excellent at catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, the one and only Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. So, I mean,
That's
not
a
bad
huge
thing.
safety valve.
Yes, it is.
With all that said, let's go into our draft. We are going to be doing a 12-team draft this year, or this time. Still with one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one tight end, and two flex spots, one defense, no kicker. And we're going to randomize the draft position. We are, again, using the Fantasy Pros website, their mock draft simulator.
And this is something you guys should be doing. One, it's fun to do when we don't have real football in front of us yet. This is something fun to do. But also, the more and more of the mock drafts you do, the more and more comfortable you get in a draft and are able to react to what's happening during the draft because you've seen it over and over.
Yeah, and you always want to have a strategy when you go in and be very open-minded when you see like a huge value or like a guy that shouldn't be there, should have been drafted already. Like, you can just snag him up on your team. Another good strategy that we like is that you don't want to go too heavy on one position because that really limits you able to make those moves on a guy that is being undervalued. So if you select three running backs in the first 3 rounds, and then let's say in the 6th, 7th round, you see Chase Edmonds there, and the Falcons still did not draft a running back, then he is the starting running back. you really can't draft him because you need a tight end, you need a quarterback, you need wide receivers to fill up that roster, and then you're just going too heavily on one side and you can't adjust. Anywho, we randomized the draft position. We are drafting fifth. Last time we did this, I believe I was the first pick, so
Yes.
Mark will be going first. So Mark be odds, I'll be evens.
So in the first round, we're selecting fifth. The first picks are, no-brainers, I suppose. Christian McCaffrey, number 1. Alvin Kamara, number 2. Saquon Barkley, number 3. And Dalvin Cook, number 4. There's 2 ways we can go with this. We can go and get the best wide receiver in the game at number 5 with Davante Adams, or go with the next best running back, which is Derrick Henry. I know last time we talked about this, we decided that running backs were more valuable this year due to the added game in there. You need a deeper running back, stable, I should say. But I'm really tempted to take Davante Adams at this point in time because he is so much better than everybody else out there as far as a receiver goes. And I still think we can come back around and still get a Nick Chubb or Aaron Jones to be our number 1 running back.
Oh, we'll see. This is a mock draft, so this is all about testing theories.
So I'm going to take Davante Adams in this one.
But it's not just his talent that stands him apart. It's his workload. Is that they really don't have, that many wide receivers out there still, unless they draft one. But as of right now, Davante Adams is still the guy out there. So after we picked Davante Adams, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Eckler, Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Travis Kelce, Miles Sanders, and Michael Thomas go. Which still leaves us with Patrick Mahomes. We still have George Kittle. As of running backs, the top 11 running backs are now selected. So it really only leaves us with DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, Cam Akers, and Clyde. Whew. Yeah, I don't like that tactic. I don't like the running backs anymore.
Yeah,
I see Cam there.
That one did not work out.
Cam is definitely the best running back out there. I think when it comes down to your actual draft, that Cam Akers will be in the second round. There's going to be the hype is just going to keep on rolling, the hype train.
Yeah, right now he's still being in mock draft selected in the third round, the 4th pick in the third round. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's slowly he's going to be dropping down into that or rising up to that late second round area.
But, we're doing a mock draft, so I'm going to take a little gamble. I'm going to draft George Kittle as our tight end in the second round and hope that either Cam Akers or Clyde is still there.
We're staying at the same, what we talked about last week, that tight end position is so scarce that if you don't get one of the top 3 tight ends, you might as well wait till the 10th round to pick up a tight end. And Kittle is basically a wide receiver and a tight end number, and why not go for him? All right, so after George Kittle, Patrick Mahomes went right after that, then Justin Jefferson, Allen Robinson, Joe Mixon, A.J. Brown, DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, and Antonio Gibson, which means we're going to take Cam Akers.
Yeah, luckily he's still there, so that worked out. Take Cam Akers in the third round.
This is exactly where he's going right now in mock drafts, but again, I don't think that's going to be that way. But, right now this is what's happening, so we're going to take advantage of what board is in front of us.
So after we select Cam Akers, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Darren Waller, Julio Jones, Chris Carson, Amari Cooper, Clyde, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Kenny Galladay, Deontay Johnson, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, and Cooper Kupp go. Now that we have one tight end, one wide receiver, and one running back, I do want to lock up another running back. Like we said earlier, depth is going to be key. There's an extra game. Injuries happen a lot, especially to running backs. You definitely want a lot of depth there and talented depth. With that being said, Okay, I'll be picking up James Robinson, locking up a second running back on our team here.
All right, so then after James Robinson, it then went DJ Moore, Josh Allen, Adam Thielen, T. Higgins, Kyler Murray, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mark Andrews, and C.D. Lamb. So two of the quarterbacks we thought that they were available in the fifth round we would take at that point are both gone.
And I think that's how it's going to go in most drafts. I know in our league, quarterbacks go way earlier, but our quarterbacks do score a little bit more than normal leagues.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're sitting here, and there are still a lot of receivers left around, but there's one I really like and I think is going to have a good year this year, and I'm going to take him in this round is Brandon Ayuk. Wait. Let me back that up because we did take George Kittle. I don't want to take Ayuk.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't want to load up on one team that is uncertain about who their quarterback's going to be at this point in time. If it's going to be Jimmy G still for a year or whoever they select as their future quarterback. So let me back that up. I mean, Tyler Lockett's still there, but I'm not completely sold on that. I think I still and I'm going to go with another running back, and I think we're going to pass up David Montgomery and Kareem Hunt and go to Melvin Gordon.
I think that's a good pick. I was thinking that too, Mike. Are we really going to go 3 running backs in the first 6 rounds, 5 rounds?
Yeah, I know.
Which kind of does away with what I just talked about being diverse, but you got to adjust, and there's still plenty of talented wide receivers out there.
And there goes the run of wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really liking this draft.
And again, we're doing these things. So as we're doing this, it's just like you doing it. We're trying out different things in mock drafts to see how it shakes up, and we are seeing right now the effects of us taking a wide receiver with the first pick. Things just haven't rolled down like we thought they might have when we did that. Plus, the other thing is we're doing this as a 12-team league right now, where last week we did it as a 10-team league. So that's a little bit different also as far as what players are available in which rounds.
Yeah, your guys get swept up a lot quicker.
Yes.
And we have 3 running backs. So to get another running back would be foolish. So I'm looking at wide receiver, possibly quarterback. We got Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert. Of course, Matthew Stafford's way down there. Joe Burrow's down there. Jalen Hurts are down there. Those guys could all be amazing this year. So I guess we'll hold off a little bit on that. And we do need to pick up a wide receiver now. So we have Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker. I think that is the cutoff point for me. I'm just trying to figure out which one would be better, Will Fuller or Devontae Parker. They're both in Miami.
Wow. Parker is definitely more durable, that's for sure. But Will Fuller is so much more talented.
Yeah, that's what I agree with.
And that's the thing is, you're looking at this, which do we go with someone we know is going to be on the field or someone that can just explode for a stretch of games?
So with that theory, I'm going to pick Will Fuller.
Thank you.
Because pick the explosiveness. I mean, your guys are going to get injured. You cannot predict injuries. They're going to happen. We draft well enough that we will have enough depth to adjust for injuries, and we can always make moves in free agency. So we will take Will Fuller as a potential, top 10 wide receiver, even though we don't really like wide receivers going to new teams. But it is in the 6th round, so the higher the round goes, the more risk that you're taking, and the more chance that these guys are going to bust.
All right. So after Will Fuller, Mike Davis went, Kareem Hunt, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, Chase Edmonds, Hunter Henry, Dallas Goedert, and Curtis Samuel. So we're in the 7th round, and there are several quarterbacks I still like.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think, because I honestly with what they've done in San Diego. I mean, that's not San. Well, it's like me calling it the Sears Tower when it's the Willis Tower. Now it's calling it San Diego when it's Los Angeles. So I'm looking at Justin Herbert of having even a better year. He's going to be so much more protected. His offensive line was horrible last year. Horrible. And now they have an all-pro center and two guards, left and right guard. So what they've done on that line to protect him, he's going to have so much more time to throw the ball. I expect no sophomore jinx with Herbert. I expect him to progress even further and have even a bigger year. With me saying that, I still think he might be there in the 8th round for you to pick up.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even later.
Yeah. So let's go back down to that wide receiver core, see what's still sitting out there as wide receivers. In seeing this, and again, I'm not a huge Michael Gallup fan. I'm just not there. I do believe that Jackson will have a better year this year. So I'm going to go with a Marquise Brown.
Hollywood Brown. See, he burned a lot of people last year, including myself.
I know. But that wasn't, I don't know if that wasn't so much him as it was Mr. Jackson just having a really bad year.
Yeah, you can say that. And they just added another wide receiver too, right?
I mean, it's either him or Corey Davis. And we know it's going to be Zach Wilson probably throwing to Corey Davis.
And Corey Davis is going to be the number one guy out there, right?
Yeah, and he does like throwing the ball deep, Mr. Wilson does.
I think we should draft Corey Davis.
Let's go with Corey Davis.
All right. And there's the quarterback run.
Yep. Let's see if it paid off for us, our little gamble. Oh,
and Justin
look
Herbert
at that.
is still there. So in the 8th round, I'll be picking up Justin Herbert. I don't think when it comes down to the real drafts that Herbert is going to be there in the 8th round. I really, really don't. But if he is, kid's got a bright future ahead of him.
Now, I didn't see the run through now. Is Mike Williams still there?
I'll show you who's just
yes, he
drafted.
Is. Okay, very good. All right, so after Justin Herbert, there was a run of quarterbacks, some receivers. But since we took Herbert, and I do like doing this, I'm going to go ahead and select Michael Williams, who is his second favorite target on that team. I'm going to go ahead and pick him up now in this round here.
Okay. Get that double points action going.
Yep. And here is the run of the rest of the running backs now.
There's like a mix of running backs and wide receivers. But we do need some running back help now.
Yeah, we got 3, and they're still going to be, I mean, anybody we're looking at now is not going to be a number 1 guy on their team, that's for sure, at this point. But there's still some help there, even with like a Gus Edwards is still going to get his play this year, no matter what. They love Gus Edwards in Baltimore. They do. So if you go ahead and do that Marvin Jones, we'll be fine picking someone up the next round. When you're looking at the running backs, you're looking at, Nyheim Hines, J.D. McKissick, Latavius Murray, Darrell Henderson, Marlon Mack, Philip Lindsay, Jeff Wilson. So you're looking at these guys that are good quality backups. And I think what we saw with that last round, we saw a lot of running backs going. I think we can get by with one more round before we have to start taking, because there was just that big run of running backs.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what you have to look at in the draft. You just can't see what players are available. You got to see what just happened in the round before you, the round you were in. If a lot of the people in your league are taking running backs at that time, all of a sudden they're making their run. They're not going to follow up with running back in the 9th and 10th round. They're not.
Okay, so with that said, we'll take Marvin Jones.
All right. So then in the 11th round,
there goes Gus.
Yep, Gus went bye-bye. But what we're looking at are some good quality backups. There's one I see in here which will get a lot of goal line looks. I think he's going to be the goal line back in San Francisco, and that's Jeff Wilson. He is, from all reports, I was just listening to an interview with the beat guy for the 49ers, And he was just stating that everybody he's talked to in the organization still thinks that Jeff Wilson is a quality running back who will still get all the goal line looks. So we're going to go with Jeff Wilson Jr.
And this team does run the ball a lot.
Yes. Now I do want to. I want to say one other thing before while we're looking at this, as we're looking into things. I know you always say that your last pick in the draft, you always like doing your defense very last.
Mm-hmm.
I got one for you though. I would like to do, and that would be with the last pick in the draft, and only because of there's a couple factors. All the line work they've done with the Chargers, the new coaching staff. Last year in training camp, all reports were that Joshua Kelly was the best looking player in training camp. He then fell out of favor with Lynn, who put him in the doghouse because he did have 2 fumbles in a row. I think it was week 7 and week 8. And then he just never saw the field again. I think he's going to get a fresh start. He's the most talented back in LA. So I would like to save that last pick because no one's going to, after the year he had last year, no one's going to pick up Joshua Kelly. It's just, but I would like to use our last pick in the draft to pick up him as our 5th running back. I'm just saying that. And that way we could actually get even the whatever top defense you want the round before that. I just, looking down in as we're getting closer to the end of the draft, that's what I'd like to throw that out there.
Okay. Let's see here. Now I was thinking about picking up Matthew Stafford as our backup quarterback.
He gone.
And he gone. But there's still some good guys. So Ryan Tannehill, Jalen Hurts, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins.
And with our second quarterback, you can go for upside on here. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can go by who, if they actually live up to their promise, who can just blow the top off of this thing.
Yeah, if all the cards align correctly, who has the best opportunity to be, a top 5, top 10 at the position? And I mean, Ryan Tannehill obviously did a lot better when he got away from Adam Gase. He's a very underrated quarterback, but he's not the guy that we're talking about. It's probably going to be Jalen Hurts in his second year with the Eagles. He could run. He's a decent thrower. He is going to be very consistent with points, and having quarterbacks that run the ball just gives you a really nice floor. Is that who you're talking about, Mark?
I was thinking that, yes. Or one other thing, which Kirk Cousins had a different offense coordinator every single year, and he starts off every year slow. Okay, every year he starts off slow, and then the second half of the season he puts up ungodly numbers. Where at the end of the year you look and go, how did he get these numbers? This year, guess what? He has another coordinator, but this time it's someone from within the system. So they're going to be running mostly the same system with a few tweaks in it. So I don't think he'll have such a slow start this year. I still think that offense could become, especially the passing offense, can be potent. So I would look at either one of those two ways with the Jalen Hurts or Kirk Cousins. But I mean, listen, Jalen Hurts is unproven. He has all the potential in the world. Kirk Cousins you've seen his potential and seen what he can do in the second half of every year. So it's really which way you want to go that way. I mean, the safer floor definitely is Kirk Cousins, if you ask me.
Yeah, and we are not shooting for floor because this is our backup quarterback.
Yep.
And we really think that Justin Herbert is going to do very, very well unless he gets hurt. But this is why we'll be drafting a backup.
And again, what they've done this offseason for Herbert was just give him a whole new offensive line. All pros.
And kept the receivers, replaced their tight end, so they're set. So we'll be selecting Jalen Hurts in the 12th round. So now we have 2 bench spots available and 1 defense spot. Let me see here. 1, 2. We have 4 running backs and 5 wide receivers.
Okay.
Just throwing that out to you.
Yeah. And as far as what is left out there, I am taking at this point, because I love this guy, Darnell Mooney.
I knew you were going to say him.
I know you were. I knew you knew.
I would have been okay with Darnell Mooney or Emmanuel Sanders.
I have. Yeah, either way, I just have a man crush on Darnell Mooney.
That's okay. He's a very talented wide receiver. He's just kind of on a bad team.
Yeah, they suck. That's why I'm no longer a Bears fan. But I can still be a Darnell Mooney fan.
Okay, so I'll be selecting defense because we're using Mark's theory of picking Josh Kelly dead last.
And watch he's not there.
Yeah. Let's see, let me find the defenses. So the only defense that was selected was the Steelers. So we still have shots at the Rams, Ravens, Colts, Washington, all the teams pretty much. We really think the Chargers are going to be a really good sleeper defense, but I suppose you do not need to take one when there's only one defense selected. So we will pick the team that we do know that has an awesome defense with the LA Rams.
Thank you.
Pick up that defense. And now we can go get Josh Kelly.
My boy's still there. Again, this is just things. There are no facts for this selection. There are no. This is me strictly taking a chance on just information I've heard in interviews. It's not a gamble with the last pick of the draft. It's not.
Yeah, your last picks. I mean, there's complete gambles, and if they turn out, then you have like a winning team.
All right.
So our team is set. We have Justin Herbert at quarterback. At running back, we have Cam Akers and James Robinson. Wide receivers, we have Devontae Adams and Will Fuller. Tight end, we have George Kittle. In our flex positions, we have Melvin Gordon and Corey Davis with the LA Rams at defense. On our bench, we have Mike Williams, Marvin Jones Jr., Jeff Wilson Jr., and Jalen Hurts, Darnell Mooney, and Joshua Kelly.
I mean, you can definitely tell between last week's draft, a 10-team league, and this time a 12-team league, because we want to show you guys different. Not everybody's in a 10-team league. Not everybody's in a 12-team league. We wanted to show how the drafts will work out. And this is for our benefit also, to see how they shake down when you're doing the different size leagues. The quality of the team is definitely a little different with the 12 team than it was with the 10 team. Everybody in a 10 team has got a good team. This one, when you're doing a 12 team, it's a little more difficult to put that quality of a team together. We are definitely better in our wide receiver core this time, but definitely not as good as in our running back core. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing as it was unfolding in this 12-team league. Getting a running back early seems to be really, really important because those guys later on in the like fourth, fifth, sixth round, they're all backups. So they won't get much work unless something drastic happens, and you can't, predict that. So take safety and get those RB1s early.
And again, that's why we're doing these things. So you guys can see how it works, and we get to see what works.
So let us know what you think of our team. And if you guys have any questions about season long or keeper leagues, any trades, you can always hit us up on Twitter at TheProsFF.
Anybody that is going to follow along with me on the golf and put a few coin out there on some golf, good luck to you. Have fun. This is your Christmas.
All right, guys. You have fun. We'll see you next week, and take care.
See ya.